That's right. Legendary actor, one of the iconic figures of the Hindi film industry, Dharmendra has passed away at the age of 89. He was cremated in Mumbai. Today we'll have a special on the one and only Garam Dharam or Dharamji, an actor arguably the most durable that Indian cinema has ever seen. But first, our top story and our special tonight. The beloved he-man of Bollywood, Dharmendra, has passed away at the age of 89. The legendary actor whose towering presence graced Indian cinema for over 6 decades was admitted earlier this month to the Breach Candy Hospital due to respiratory complications. His departure marks the end of an era, a star who outlived most stars. The one and only Dharmendra. Take a look.
He wasn't just an actor. He was Hindi cinema's original he-man. The man who made strength look soulful and simplicity look royal. Today the silver screen dims a little as we bid farewell to the legend, Dharmendra. The actor's last rites were performed at the Pawan Hans crematorium in Mumbai, where members of the film fraternity and his family gathered to pay their solemn respect. Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, Abhishek Bachchan, Salman Khan, Amir Khan and several others were seen arriving to bid farewell to the legendary star, whose illustrious career spanned more than 6 decades and left an indelible mark on Indian cinema. The atmosphere at the crematorium was filled with grief and reverence as friends, admirers and loved ones came together to honor his extraordinary legacy and offer their final goodbyes. From Phool Aur Patthar to Sholay, he did not just act, he lived every role with raw emotion and effortless grace. His journey from a small town in Punjab to the pinnacle of Bollywood stardom is the stuff dreams are made of. He made us fall in love with love itself. His romance was old school, his friendships eternal, and his screen presence magnetic. In fact, he was that one gem who could make you laugh, cry, and cheer, all in the same frame. Behind the spotlight, Dharmendra was known for his humility, warmth, and poetic heart. His love for Urdu shairi, his devotion to family, and his childlike humor endeared him to generations beyond his time. He was the man who made the silver screen shine brighter. And today, as that light fades, Bollywood stands still in silence. Because legends like Dharmendra don't die, they just turn immortal.
Joining me now is a very special guest. I'm joined by Sharmila Tagore, who starred with Dharmendra in one of those, in several iconic films, particularly in the 60s and also in the 70s. Appreciate your joining us, Sharmila Tagore. The 60s we turn to first with films like Satyakam, Anupama, films that you did with him that are still remembered. But your first film with him was Devar. What was your first impression when you met Dharmendra?
That he was very handsome. He was so good looking and charming. He had a wonderful smile and he was wonderful to get along with. But the first impression that he was very good looking.
First impression that he was very good looking. You know, in those films, which some of which were directed by the great Hrishikesh Mukherjee, there was a sense that Dharmendra, the actor, was also coming into his own. He often was classified more as a star than an actor, but in those films, he really seemed to get the emotional chords right. Was it easy to act with someone like Dharmendra?
It was wonderful, very easy to act with him because he was, he was very spontaneous and, but with Rishida's film particularly, Anupama first and then Satyakam and then Chupke Chupke, he had very different kind of role. And in Chupke Chupke, in a comedy role, he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I really wish that they had given him the national award because for comedy perhaps there was no appreciation or no understanding that you can, get those kind of awards, the serious awards. They were meant for serious actors. But I think he was just, he was very good. All the films I've done with him, I've really enjoyed. I worked in 7 films with him.
And I'm looking at scenes from Chupke Chupke, which was a classic in that comic genre, and it was a multi-starrer with you, Amitabh Bachchan, and Dharmendra, Jaya Bachchan. I'm just trying to understand.
Jaya.
And Jaya Bachchan. I'm just trying to understand.
And Om Prakash.
And Om Prakash. You've got all the names right. There was a sense that he had a great gift of comic timing. I remember once interviewing him and said he actually relished doing comedy.
Yes, I mean, he was so good. I can still remember because it's my go-to film. Every time I'm sort of not feeling too bright, I see Chupke Chupke and it makes me laugh. He was brilliant, that when he's pretending to be, he has a lisp. He does it so well. I mean, it was absolutely wonderful. It was such a fun, light film.
Tell us what it was like shooting for the film.
Anupama, he was very good.
What was it like shooting for the film with Dharmendra, Amitabh Bachchan, Jaya Bachchan? You all must have had a whale of a time.
Absolutely. It was just having, a lot of fun. Just enjoying ourselves, really. It didn't feel like shooting at all, And we were allowed to improvise, and Rishida was wonderful, He was such a wonderful director, easy director, calming director. He would play chess in between when the lighting was going on. He would play chess and share a lot of jokes with us. So everybody felt very relaxed. And Dharam in Satyakam was brilliant. That was a serious film.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand, everyone we've spoken to has spoken about his simplicity, that here comes someone from rural Punjab, makes it big in Bollywood. Was that something true of that entire generation? That they didn't have the starry airs, particularly the 60s. I guess by the 70s, the superstars had arrived, but the 60s, was it a generation of more self-effacing actors who enjoyed their stardom, but didn't really have to, it was not in your face?
No, I think Raj Kapoor was not self-effacing.
Sure.
There were a lot of other actors who were not self-effacing. It was just depended on one's personality, Yusuf Saab was different, but also made his impact, He knew what to say, how to say. Dharam was a very simple person, very good-natured. He was relaxed. He was himself all the time, He didn't put on any star-like or put on any other personality, He was completely relaxed and smiled and just like any normal person.
Because
he didn't try to change, He remembered his past.
Because many saw him as this action hero, but when the films that you did with him, there was a softer side, almost a vulnerability to his smile. He could actually woo women, not just because he was so good looking, but there was a vulnerability almost to that action hero that was there in the 60s. Before, of course, he became the macho he-man in the 70s.
Like he was very disarming. Like his smile was so disarming with that little twinkle in his eyes, and which revealed his soul, which was very clean and very non-judgmental, He wasn't either judging others or himself. He was what he was. So that came through because camera is a very discerning instrument, you know. So I think it caught his, on my birthday, my 75th birthday, a friend of mine had made a film and had asked Amitabh and others, Gulzar Saab, to, say a few things about me. And Dharam was one of them. And he said such wonderful things. And it all straight from the heart, And he was like that. He was very much himself. There was no pretense or trying to be like somebody else or, this star-like mannerisms. His smile came straight from the heart.
And he stayed like that right through, even when he became a big star. He remained the actor that you had, or the yes, star you had first met in films like Anupama and Satyakam, and before that they were?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. He was, I worked with him in Sunny also, much later.
Yes.
And he was a very, very established star by then. And of course he did it for his son, because that was Sunny's, I think, early films.
Yes.
With Raj Khosla. And he was exactly the same, welcoming, and I just loved his smile. Right now, I'm only thinking about his smile, kind of self-deprecating, it came straight from the heart, really. I just loved his smile.
But, I want you
and
to
we
give...
shared a birthday, you know that, no?
Both of you are born December 1. You're born December 1. I can reveal your age, 1944. And if I'm not mistaken, he was born December 1. He would have been 90. So he was born 1935.
No. That's right. 10 years apart.
Yes.
We are 10 years apart, but not December 1. 8th December.
Sorry, 8th December.
December the 8th.
December the 8th. Yes.
Yeah.
So both of you...
December.
So did you all ever have a birthday party? I just wonder whether Sharmila Tagore and Dharmendra would have ever had a birthday party together.
No, unfortunately not. No, but every time, I've been getting on, but I don't know how long I'll be around. But for the rest of my life, most certainly I'll think of him. I think we'll cut a cake for him also.
Y'all didn't do a birthday party together, but you must have exchanged wishes. And interestingly, he adjusted to the new generation. He even went on Instagram. So it's a bit like you, who've also adjusted to the new age, and he also found his way.
Yes, he was doing that, wasn't he? Yes.
I'm just trying to get a...
I'm still not tech savvy.
You're still not tech savvy, but he did his film in 1960, the first one, around the same time that you did your first film, despite that 10-year gap. And 65 years later, you're still with us doing something or the other, and he was still doing cinema. This longevity is quite remarkable, isn't it? When you look at him, 65 years of continuously doing films.
Remarkable.
And why? What is it, that special quality that makes someone?
This film is going to release.
What makes longevity, you think?
I think he was a very fit man. He had taken a lot of exercise once upon a time, and had continued to so. He was a robust individual, and he had seen. Once upon a time, he had worked pretty hard, So that always helps one's physical health. And of course, I think he did pretty much what he wanted to do, and he did it very graciously. He hasn't hurt anybody. He didn't have a guilty conscience, and I think he's helped so many people. So he had a lot of duas, He had a lot of goodwill with him. So I think all that helped his longevity and his...
As we end, ma'am, your favorite Dharmendra film or moment? He did from Sholay to Satyakam, a variety of films. Do you have a favorite Dharmendra film that you will maybe watch tonight, or a song that you will recall when you think of him?
I'll most certainly watch Chupke Chupke, because that was so different and it makes you laugh, and he was so funny. So most certainly, I can't say a favorite film because he's done so many. You can't just have one favorite film. He's done many films, but Chupke Chupke is most certainly a film that I will watch every now and then, just to make me, just to laugh and smile and feel happy.
I want to tell you,
And
there's
to
a
remember
song.
him the way he was.
There's a song from Anupama that is coming to me. I'm just looking. Ya Dil Ki Suno Duniya Wale. You remember that song?
Dhanyawalo, yes. Yes, and he stands and he's with folded arms and he sings it with such serenity. And what beautiful. I mean, I've seen those films recently.
Right.
And he was so good. The film was good. You know, this is it. You know, when you're good in a film, every actor shines. And he's been very fortunate to have, you know, he's worked with very good directors. And at a time, he's had a huge run, you know. He's, from then to now, he was a presence. So everything has added up to his longevity. And his memory, of course, will live on, and his films will live on, I have no doubt.
Sharmila Tagore, for speaking from your heart about someone who, as you said, was one of the most handsome men you'd met. And remember, you were married to the one and only Nawab Patodi, who also, in that generation, had wowed several hearts. I keep looking at some of the old images of your husband,
Yes.
late husband as well, and brings back lots of memories. But for you on this day to share some of those memories on Dharmendra, thank you so much for joining me. Okay, wonderful to listen to Sharmila Tagore on Dharmendra. Let's go to someone else who was part of that path breaking the iconic Sholay film. Joining me now is the director of that all-time blockbuster, Ramesh Sippy. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Sippy. Your memories, sir, first of Dharmendra, particularly from Sholay.
First of all, I need to say that on a day like this, first let me express that I am overwhelmed. This was expected. It was going to happen. In the last couple of months, he's been unwell. But yet, when it finally comes, it's not easy to accept. He, such a fine and wonderful man, that the thought that he is no more is itself makes you feel very gloomy. But let's remember him as the person who held sway and held entire audiences mesmerized with his performance. Certainly in Sholay, he gave one such performance.
Mr. Sippy.
His highlight of his lighter moment was when he was on top of that tank and he carried that moment. It was, at least half of it was him in reality. He just let go of himself. He had a tipple or two as well, but he did it so beautifully, so wonderfully. It all came naturally to him.
He had a tipple or two when he played, when he was there on top of that tank. We'll put those shots of that famous scene with Mossy ji. But I'm told, or he told me once, that the original dialogue had the word Mossy and he changed it to Mossy ji. Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
That's true.
That's where the individual comes in. A scene is written by writers, and Kareem Javed and I, when we worked on this scene and came out with this, it was a beautifully written scene, Javed Saab actually wrote the essence of it on a piece of paper placed on an ambassador car leaving for the airport. He was leaving back from Mumbai and just took out a paper and behind, as I said, the back of the ambassador, he placed the paper and wrote the scene. Gave it to my assistant, who translated it properly and gave it to me. And the everything that was required was in it. But of course, Dharamji, when he took it, he put his heart and soul into it and brought out what you see on screen.
Is it also true, Mr. Sippy, that Dharmendra was the one who recommended Amitabh Bachchan for the role of Jay in the film?
He also recommended it, yes. He felt that the role of Jay could be played by Amitabh. We had already decided that it would be Amitabh ji, and very happy to oblige. So I think he wanted him, we wanted him, and he was there.
But you know, the thing is, you just didn't do Sholay with him. You also did another blockbuster, Sita or Geeta, earlier. So obviously, Dharmendra was a favorite for you. What was it about Dharmendra that made you keep getting him to star in many of your hit films? Was there something special about Dharmendra?
I think he was a very natural, warm person who there were no airs about him at all. He spoke from the heart. I think that comes to you so easily and so naturally that you react also accordingly. So that interaction that took place when working with him was so nice that I felt that all three of them that I had in Sita Geeta must definitely be there in my next. And then, of course, Amitji and Jayaji were joined in, and finally Amjad as Gabbar. I think together, probably never a cast like that has been assembled before or after.
You know, was it also the fact that Dharamji was very easy to work with co-stars? Therefore, you could have a multi-starrer around him, that he didn't have the starry airs and therefore didn't mind sharing screen space with another big star like Bachchan?
True, very true. He was confident of his own work, and therefore others next to him or working with him did not disturb him. He was confident about himself. But Amitji and he blended together so beautifully, straight from the train sequence and onwards. I think an assembly of a cast like that will probably never take place again.
Can I sir, ask you in conclusion, do you have a favorite Dharmendra role or moment or scene, something that you think typifies the man, the actor?
Well, all his other songs were fine and he was wonderful in them, but of course, his scene on the tank stands out. That's a part of him. Not all him, he's not always like that, of course, but there was a part of him
Right.
out there which came out very naturally. Javed Saab captured the essence of his character, and you see, a good writer will also see that what he gives to the actor
Right.
is something that he can take in and bring out an extra ounce from himself in that way. So the blending together, director, writer, actor, this was a kind of a complete moment.
Ramesh, Sippy, you know, for recalling some of those memories of Sholay and Dharmendra, I appreciate you joining me on the show today. I'm going to play out an interview I did with Dharmendra a few years ago. That's coming up in a moment. But I also want to understand why he was such a durable star. What made Dharmendra a star with so many hits over 6 decades? Joining me now is Anil Sharma, film director, producer, very close to the Deol family. Is the only one who actually first directed Dharmendra, Bobby and Sunny in a film called Apne in 2007. Also joining me, Taran, Adarsh, film critic, Komal, Nahta, film trade analyst. Appreciate all of you joining us. I want to come to you, Anil Saab, first, because you knew the Deol family and Dharmendra better than most. Gadar also, of course, featuring Sunny Deol. Dharmendra ji ki special quality kya thi? What was special about him that made so many people like you only want to work with him?
धर्म जी जैसा कोई है ही नहीं, सच्ची बात तो ये है। ना धर्मेंद्र जैसा कोई हुआ है ना होगा। वो एक जमीन और मिट्टी के व्यक्ति थे। सानेवाल से आए थे, छोटे से गांव से आए। वो गांव उनके दिल से आज तक नहीं निकला। वो एक आम इंसान, वो इतने बड़े स्टार हो गए। धर्मेंद्र ये कभी महसूस ही नहीं करते थे कि वो स्टार है। हम लोग कहते थे, हम लोग जब हम धर्म जी से पहली बार मिले, हमें याद है बर्निंग ट्रेन के टाइम पे जब मैं असिस्टेंट था और मैं भागते उनके पास गया और मैंने उनको बोला सर ये कॉल शीट। तो उन्होंने उनका वैन का दरवाजा खोला, बोले एक ही है, बोले कॉल शीट, बोले एक ही ऑन दी है। हंसने लगे। मैंने कहा सर वो नई कॉल शीट निकली थी। मैंने कहा सर कल का प्रोग्राम है। बोले ये तो मुझे रवि ने बता दिया। तो फिर मेरी तरफ ऐसे देखने लगे। तो बोले असिस्टेंट हूँ मैं, 16-17 साल का था, 17 साल का रहूंगा। बोले जी अच्छा, ऑल द बेस्ट, मेहनत करना, भगवान तुम्हें कामयाब करेगा। और ऐसा मेरे सर पे हाथ रखा और मुस्कुराते रहे। तो मैंने सोचा धर्मेंद्र इतना बड़ा आदमी और एक नए लड़के से ऐसे बात कर रहा है। मेरे लिए तो ऐसा था जैसे खुदा सामने आ गया, ईश्वर सामने आ गया। मेरे तो रोंगटे खड़े हो गए, अभी भी बोल रहा हूं तो रोंगटे खड़े हो रहे हैं। तो धर्म जी जैसा ना कभी हुआ है ना कोई होगा।
So जो आप कह रहे हैं कि his humility अनिल शर्मा made him special, कि जितने भी बड़े स्टार थे, his feet were on the ground, जमीन पर था।
Yeah, and the sensibility of his cinema. उन्होंने गुरदत्त से लेके, राज कपूर से लेके, राज खोसला से लेके, मनमोहन देसाई से लेके, मेरे साथ भी और भी कितने बड़े डायरेक्टरों के साथ, ऋषिकेश मुखर्जी, गुलजार, हर तरह के जोनर के डायरेक्टरों के साथ काम किया उन्होंने। और हर तरह की फिल्म की, चुपके चुपके भी की, तो उन्होंने मेरा गांव मेरा देश भी किया, तो शोले भी किया रमेश सिप्पी साहब के साथ, तो अनपढ़ भी की उन्होंने, तो सत्यकाम भी की उन्होंने। तो उनका जो जोनर था, तो दोस्त भी की उन्होंने, तो उनका जो जोनर था, हुकूमत भी की उन्होंने मेरे साथ। तो जो उनका जो जोनर था वो इतना डिफरेंट था। और एक साल में उनकी 6-6, 7-7 फिल्में हिट आती थी। मिस्टर राजदीप, इफ इन टुडेज टाइम इफ एनी हीरो गेट्स 2 or 3 हिट फिल्म इन अ ईयर, he will take a sword in his hand and cut all India. समझे ना, इतना वो पागल हो जाएगा। मगर धर्मेंद्र 7-7 फिल्में हिट होने के बाद भी वो विनम्र रहते थे। वो ऐसे ही रहते थे। उनको यही लगता था कि मुझे अगले साल फिल्म मिलेगी या नहीं मिलेगी, मुझे कौन जानता है या कौन पहचानता है, या उनको कभी अवार्ड नहीं मिलता था। उनकी स्पीच सुनो, जब उनको पहली बार अवार्ड दिया था टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया फिल्म फेयर ने, तो उन्होंने कहा था मैं रोज एक सूट सिलाता था कि शायद इस बार मुझे अवार्ड मिलेगा, लेकिन कभी मुझे मिला ही नहीं। और उनके एक्सप्रेशन देखो, तो उनके अंदर वो जो विनम्रता थी। लेकिन उन्होंने कहा कि लोगों ने, मीडिया ने मुझे अवार्ड दिया हो ना दिया हो, लेकिन लोगों ने अपने दिल में मुझे अवार्ड दे के रखा है। और मेरी कोई पोजीशन मीडिया ने बनाई हो ना बनाई हो, लेकिन मेरी ऑडियंस ने मेरी पोजीशन अपने दिल के दरवाजे पर नंबर 1 बना के रखी हुई है.
Very nice words there, Anil Sharma. I want to bring in Komal Nahta. Komal Nahta, what do you believe was the durability of Dharmendra? 1960 first film and was still doing Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani in 2023. What was the secret sauce?
I think one, he was a much loved actor. Second, he was a brilliant actor. And third, his ability to gel with any and every co-star, with every producer, every director. He was always a people's man, and uppermost in his mind used to be the welfare of people working with him and working in the films that he was doing. I think that stood him in good stead, besides the fact that, of course, he was a brilliant actor. You know, they called him the He-Man of Bollywood, the rough and tough hero, but behind the rough and tough exterior, there was a heart that was so soft. He was so endearing and he used to love people. So I think all these qualities gave him such a long innings in the industry.
Right. Let me go to Taran. Let me go to Taran Adarsh also. Taran,
Yeah.
you know, such a bankable star. Had years like 73 with 10 hits. Unbelievable. What was
Yes.
so special about Dharmendra, you think?
Well, so many factors actually. The press has labeled him as a He-Man and an angry, a person who specialized in action roles. But for me, I think when I look at his body of work, I think he was a complete all-rounder. One of the finest actors that we've had. And look at his body of work, right from his very first film to the kind of film that he's done over the decades, from Rishikesh Mukherjee to Pramod Chakravarti to Ramanand Sagar to Ramesh Sippy, Anil Sharma, so many filmmakers that he's worked with, and you see the versatility of Dharamji in those films. And I think here's a complete all-rounder who never really got that due from the media, but the masses loved him. The
So
audiences loved him. He was the
was a
darling of the
mass,
masses.
he was a genuine mass star in that sense. If you have mass
Absolutely,
leaders
he
in
was a
politics, he was
I
a
would say he
mass
was a
actor.
Pied Piper. He was a Pied Piper. Picture लगती थी and houseful bored हो जाते थे immediately. And imagine delivering 7 and 8 hits in a year. It's unbelievable, and in today's time, it's just unimaginable also. But Dharamji delivered those numbers, that gave those hits, and I think that's
Right.
where he scored brownie points.
Komal Nahta, your final word. Taran is describing him as the actor of the masses. Your description of the Dharmendra, one line that to you defines the man.
The man with the golden heart, because there were many from Punjab who came as strugglers to the industry till they did not get a foothold in the industry, till they did not have enough money. They used to live in his house, so he used to provide them food, shelter. After becoming the Dharmendra, who does that?
Right.
So his house was like an open ashram for people for strugglers from Punjab. I think many people from Punjab owe their careers in Bollywood
Right.
to Dharmendra.
Man with a golden heart, mass actor, and someone who was completely humble. That's what made Dharmendra so special. Thank you all very much for joining me on the show. This is a Dharmendra special. So I want to turn to an excerpt from a 2017 Aaj Tak Agenda program where I spoke to Dharmendra and asked him what was his secret sauce. Listen in.
दोस्तों, हिंदी सिनेमा का असली ही मैन कौन? सलमान खान नहीं, अक्षय कुमार नहीं. प्लीज वेलकम द ओरिजिनल ही मैन, गरम धरम धर्मेंद्र. ये सही इंट्रोडक्शन था कि आप आज भी असली ही मैन हैं हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के.
राज थोड़ा ज्यादा कह गए आप, क्योंकि मैं तो हर किसी को खुद से बड़ा ही समझता हूँ. बड़े हैं सब, बड़े ही मैन आजकल तो बहुत हैं, लेकिन आपने जिस ढंग से कहा है उसने कुछ पुराने दिन याद दिला दिए. आज भी वैसा ही हूं मैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है.
आपने कॉमेडी की, एक्शन की, रोमांस की, कौन सा रोल आपको सबसे पसंद होता था? क्योंकि आपकी कॉमिक टाइमिंग बहुत अच्छी हुआ करती थी चुपके चुपके जैसे पिक्चर में. फिर भी आपने ही मैन का रोल भी किया, एक्शन फिल्में की, और आपने वो सॉफ्ट रोमांटिक हीरोज भी किए.
ये ही मैन या रोमांस या इमोशनल चीजें तो हो जाती हैं, कॉमेडी इज़ ए डिफ़िकल्ट थिंग. इसमें टाइमिंग अगर आपका सही नहीं हो साहब, आप मिस कर जाएंगे. आप फेंकें, सामने वाला लपेट ले, और सामने वाला फेंके, आप लपेट लें उसको उसी वक्त टक टक उसका. मैं महमूद को भी कहता था बच के रहना भाई, वो मेरा दोस्त था, बहुत प्यार करता था मुझे. तो एक मेरी फिल्म थी नीला आकाश, हमारा हवाई जहाज़ फंस जाता है आंधी में, तो मुझे कहने लगा कि मैंने कट कैमरा, स्टॉप कैमरा. मैंने कहा हु इज़ द कैप्टन? कहना आप. तो मुझे आप ऐसे क्यों बता रहे हो? तो चुप कर गया. तो इस तरह से मैं उसको कह देता था. मेरे साथ हर हीरो के साथ करता था वो. कोई हीरो उससे काम करते हुए झिझकते थे, टू बी फ्रैंक.
महमूद के साथ
महमूद साहब इज़ ए गुड ग्रेट कॉमेडियन. उसका टाइमिंग क्या था. और खैर,
और आपकी भी टाइमिंग शोले में वो जो सबसे मेमोरेबल सीक्वेंस है,
कॉमेडी में आप ऐड कर लेते हैं. अभी वो
मौसी जी के साथ,
मौसी जी छोड़िए, वो मंदिर में जब मैं वो कन्या वो कहता हूँ, तो उसको थूक लगाने की क्या जरूरत थी डब्बे को? उसमें बात बन जाती है डब्बे. कोई जरूरत नहीं थी, एक्टर के अंदर से आता है. जब मुक्का ही मारता आ भाई, तो वो उसमें कॉमेडी में आपको बहुत कुछ आपके अंदर से आ जाता है.
वो डायलॉग अभी भी शोले का,
शोले के कई डायलॉग हुआ जी जावेद साहब या सलीम ने नहीं लिखा था, मौसी जी. और जी लगाने में कितना मजा आ गया. मौसी जी आ रहा हूँ, अभी जी लगा दिया तो साला इतना मस्का मार रहा है मौसी को. तो जी लगाने में कितना फर्क पड़ गया. देखिए एक लफ्ज से, नहीं तो मौसी मौसी मैं आ रहा हूँ, या मौसी जी आ रहा हूँ, तो उसमें कितना फर्क हो जाता है. कॉमेडी में आप कुछ भी, यू कैन एनहांस थिंग, यू कैन प्ले विद इट, एंड आई एंजॉय कॉमेडी.
यू एंजॉय कॉमेडी. फिर भी आपका एक डायलॉग हमेशा हुआ करता था एक्शन फिल्म में, कुत्ते. ये कुत्ते शब्द जैसे शत्रुघ्न सिन्हा का खामोश हुआ करता था, आपका था कुत्ते. ये कुत्तों से आपको इतनी नफरत क्यों थी?
मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता, लेकिन ये बहुत पॉपुलर हो गया. अब क्या करूं मैं, पता नहीं कैसे मेरे मुंह से निकल गया, जुबान से.
क्या था वो, अब बताइए किस तरह से करें.
नहीं, वो मोस्टली हम लोग जब गुस्से में आते हैं तो कुछ निकल जाता है, तो वो निकल गया होगा बस. तो वो पॉपुलर हो गया, लोगों को पसंद आ गया होगा.
तो हर पिक्चर में फिर वो जब भी आपको एक्शन, आप विलन को जब भी मिलते थे पहले आप उसे कुत्ते कहते थे.
ये विलन होते ही कुत्ते हैं जी से. कुत्ते फिर भी वफादार होते हैं. विलन तो कुत्तों से भी गए गुजरे होते हैं.
वो चुपके चुपके, जैसे आपने पहले कहा कॉमिक टाइमिंग, आप और अमिताभ बच्चन और शर्मिला टैगोर के बीच में जो उस पिक्चर में कॉमिक टाइमिंग होती है. और ऋषिकेश मुखर्जी हमेशा कहते थे कि धर्मेंद्र एक ऐसे एक्टर है जो मैं हमेशा पसंद करूंगा कॉमेडी फिल्म में. अमिताभ बच्चन के साथ आपकी जो पेयरिंग थी, एक तरफ शोले, ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे, दूसरी तरफ चुपके चुपके, क्या था उस मैजिकल पार्टनरशिप में?
मुझे उसका तो नहीं पता, मुझे मालूम है मेरे अंदर क्या है. इज ए गुड एक्टर. उनकी टाइमिंग क्या है, उनकी आवाज़, जादू भरी आवाज़ है उनकी, तो वो ही कैन प्ले. मेरा क्या है, मैं नेचुरल हूँ, कुछ भी टाइम बोल जाता हूँ. तो कई जगह, कई हमारी फिल्मों में हमेशा क्यू लेते हैं कि इसके बाद क्यू के मैं अपनी लाइन शुरू करूँगा. लेकिन मैं कुछ भी बोल जाता था तो यार कहते तो लाइन मत चेंज किया कर. अभी एक फिल्म थी, ओम प्रकाश कॉमेडियन हमारे थे, तो एक पिक्चर में मैं उनके पाँव में गिरा हूँ कि दादाजी अगर आपने हमें माफ़ नहीं किया हम पैरों से नहीं उठेंगे. तो उनके पैर बहुत कोरे लगे मुझे, बहुत रंग. तो मैंने कहा दादाजी आप पैरों से बिल्कुल अंग्रेज़ लग रहे हो. तो उनकी दाढ़ी खुल गई, मूंछ खुल गई. कहता ओए जटा, मुझे ये डायलॉग कहाँ था? मैंने कहा जी आपके पैर मुझे बहुत अच्छे लगे, तो मेरे मुंह से निकल गया कि आप पैरों से अंग्रेज़ लग रहे हैं. पैरों से क्या अंग्रेज़ हो?
तो ये आपने अपने डायलॉग
खुद ही वहाँ फिल्म भी आ जाता है. कॉमेडी में यही बात है, कॉमेडी में नशा है.
हम नेताओं से हमेशा पूछते हैं कि आपकी लेगेसी क्या होगी, किस तरह से आप एक तरह से क्या विरासत छोड़ना चाहोगे. अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कि फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में किस तरह से धर्मेंद्र जी की क्या विरासत होनी चाहिए?
कुछ भी बन जाए मेरे बच्चे, अच्छे इंसान बन के रहें. इंसानियत से मोहब्बत होती है. इंसानियत से बढ़कर कुछ नहीं होता. इंसान का मतलब आपसे, इंसानियत में सब कुछ आता है, माँ बहन बेटी सब दोस्त. कहाँ कितना क्या बोलना है, वो इंसान बन के रहें बस. होती है तारीफ अहमियत की, वीआईपी वीवीआईपी. मैं अभी तारीफ और कदर में फ़र्क बताना चाहूँगा. लिखने लग गया हूँ, क्या करूँ. होती है तारीफ अहमियत की, इंसानियत की मगर कदर होती है। कदर देखिए साहब, होती है तारीफ अहमियत की, इंसानियत की मगर कदर होती है। तरजीह ना दे ओहदे को इंसानियत पे, बंदे पे खुदा की तब नजर होती है।
अरे वाह, खेती से अभी भी बहुत लगाव है।
सुना दूं कुछ?
हाँ,
मट्टी का बेटा हूं, मरते मरते भी कुछ कर जाऊंगा। मट्टी का बेटा हूं, मरते मरते भी कुछ कर जाऊंगा। उखड़ती बूढ़ी सांसों से चुरा कर चंद सांसें मैं, चीर के सीना धरती का फसल नई एक बो दूंगा। खेतों में हरियाली की चादर फिर जब बिछ जाएगी, खेतों में हरियाली की चादर जब बिछ जाएगी, उगाएगी जवानी मेरी, सांसों में सांसें भी आ जाएंगी।
अरे वाह,
फिर होके लथपथ मट्टी में मैं खेतों खेतों भागूंगा, नाचूंगा, गाऊंगा, और पकते पकते फसल सुनहरी जब हो जाएगी, लेके दाती हाथों में गाता गीत बैसाखी के, मैं सोने के ढेर लगा दूंगा, मैं सोने के ढेर लगा दूंगा। मिट्टी का बेटा हूं, मरते मरते भी कुछ कर जाऊंगा।